In this section, we'll be learning about what are the types of blockchains, blockchain environment types in general. There are like public and private. We'll be talking about that in detail. So if you have to categorize into groups, a blockchain into a particular group or maybe type, there are primarily two types of blockchain. One is public, one is private. Public is where anybody can participate in that particular blockchain environment, whereas private is only limited number of people can access that private network, like a B2B applications where the data should be protected between only the companies, then it's private. In case of, let's say, cryptocurrencies, which is most commonly used by the general public, that should be in a public environment or public type of blockchain. And also you can categorize based on whether it's an open blockchain or a closed blockchain. Open blockchain is where anybody can read, write transactions, whereas in the closed, only certain people will have write access, and people can have limited read access. So we'll be talking about that in detail, but let me start with what is the difference between public and private. In the case of public, you can check whether who can write the data. So before we determine what type of blockchain you're working on, you have to see the condition: are you able to write data to that particular blockchain? If you're able to write a data to a blockchain, that's called public. Anybody can add a record in the public blockchain. And in the case of private, only certain participant or certain types of participant can write the data. So this is a real differentiator factor for checking if you're working on a public or a private blockchain network. So again, as I said, the primary condition for you to check whether you're using a public data or a private blockchain network is based on the write condition. If you're able to write data to the blockchain network, that is public. And if you have only certain people or certain nodes or participants can write data to that particular blockchain network, that is a private network. So very simple. I don't want to complicate this topic. Based on the right condition, you determine whether it's a public or private. And coming to open and closed, it depends on who can read the data. Like now, in the case of public private, it's based on the write, and in the case of open closed, who can read the data. So in the case of public or open, anybody or everybody can read the blockchain data. So if it says public open, anybody can write the data and anybody can read the data. That becomes public open. So I'm just combining the previous two words and these two words so that you have a clarity on different types of blockchain network: public private and open close. Sometime it will be referred as public open, public closed, or private open, private close. So that is based on the read condition. Public private is based on write, and open and closed is based on read condition. In the case of closed, only certain participants or nodes can read the data. So this is how you can define the type of blockchain network. So these are the types of blockchain networks or platforms available in the open market now, or maybe among the open and the enterprise applications. In the next video, we'll be talking about the decision metrics, or how to choose a public, private, or maybe open, closed blockchain network.